cards because that keeps the juices going for me until NFL season. And now we are finally here for football. I don't know about you, but I looked at that slate and I'm like, I'm so excited for the dogs alone, bro. There's so many dogs in week one right off the bat that are just jumping off the page to me. And I know you like your what's it called? Your home dogs in prime time.
Home dogs in prime time, baby.
Home dogs in prime time. There's a ton of them out there. So we're gonna let everyone jump on the show. People are coming in live right now, and we're gonna get started. Let's do a quick recap of last season. So if you were a Discipline to Gens member for last year, you finished on the algo plays. That's this guy right here. 199 winning plays, 156 losses, and one push, up 40.3 units. And I want everyone listening out there to understand that 40 units for this guy is like 120 units for your average Twitter, TikTok capper out there. A $20 a game better last year was up $800. A $100 a game better was up $4,000. And a $1,000 a game better was up $40,000 last year if they tailed every pick that the Discipline the Gens Algo and Gino put out last season. Right now, in the comments, we are running a special for the entire season, $235. You get the entire NFL. Not only are you going to get his algo picks, you're also going to get the daily fantasy sports picks that our guy Trevor is giving out every single week in the NFL.
And our members give out their top plays. They don't give out the volume that Matty and I give out. You know, Matty gives out a whole slate in UFC. I give out an entire slate for NFL. But they do give out, like, you know, their top 3 plays, their top 4 plays. So there's a lot of value in there. And I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I know it's true. If I'm up 40.5 units or 40.3, our members are probably up 60 or 80 because I give out a lot of half unit, 1 unit. And we know that they just pump those or parlay them or do whatever they do.
100%. So that link on the screen is where you guys can join. If you just want to join for a week pass, we have week passes at $20. We also have month-to-month passes at $45, or you get the whole football season at $235. So let's go ahead and dive into the show. Right off the bat, we like to start off with some narratives. Right off the bat, we have the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Everyone is talking about, is this Jets team going to be for real with Aaron Rodgers? I got to go to Gino here. What do you think about this team?
Oh, man, I'm a huge fade the public guy. That's like our T-shirts that we wear. Is Rodgers a top quarterback? I think so. He looks a little slim, but who am I to talk? Tom Brady was able to move teams and win, so he contradicts a lot of what I want to say. Mm-hmm. This Jets team with Robert Saleh was a top defense, and that to me travels well. And they had some really bad quarterback play in games that they were in. Mm-hmm. Like both games were Baltimore and stuff. So I'm a little nervous. I don't know what I would.
So you're buying or selling the Jets?
I'm going to sell that everyone thinks they're just Super Bowl ready, but I definitely would buy them as a playoff team.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is it usually doesn't work out when teams go for this Hail Mary, pick up a really good quarterback. But the Jets were a top 5 defensive unit last year. They ranked 4th in points per game at 18.5 points per game, 2nd in points per drive at 1.5 points. I got to believe that they're going to figure it out. They'll be a playoff team. I agree with you. They're not going to make a Super Bowl run, but it could happen in the next 2 to 3 years. Next question for you. This is a question that hits home to me. Can Jalen Hurts be the very first quarterback to lose a Super Bowl and make it back there the next year?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, I'm arrogant. You know, I'm a Niner fan. Matty's a Philly fan. We're going to cover that all year. I genuinely believe this is for the Niners or Philly to lose. This is their Super Bowl to lose. So, or excuse me, I should say their NFC championship to lose. So I don't think you're as high on the Cowboys, but that to me is the only team, and maybe the Saints. So long answer. I think this is the NFC. This is Philly's NFC until someone takes it from them. And I'm nervous. I think you got to go to Philly to take it from them too. That wasn't fun last year.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to hear any arguments for me on this one. I just think as much as we lost some good players, we reloaded in the draft. We're going to be a hell of a roster, a hell of a team again. Jalen tasted it, and he's hungry as ever. I like us to make a run. As I told you in the last show, I like Eagles Dolphins. I think it's a super cool story and narrative, and I think that it could get done 100%.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I think it's going to be an Eagles-Niners rematch. I'm going Niners-Bills for my Super Bowl matchup, but that does not mean that Jalen and the Eagles can't be back there. Far from it.
I like it. All right, let's dive into something we didn't have a lot of success with last year, but historically you're pretty good at.
Tell the story.
All right, I'll tell the Gens the story. So last year we go to Circa. We do 2 Survivor. We started with 1 Survivor entry, right?
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know what Survivor is, it's $1,000 buy-in at Circa. You pick one team to win outright every week, and you have to make it through the whole season, right? I go up to the Circa. I do the buy-in. I go up to the kiosk to make a pick. I swear to this day, the machine glitched, but people at Circa will tell you I pressed the wrong button. One of 2 is accurate. Anyways, I picked the fucking Jets. The Jets in week 1 is an underdog in Survivor League. Oh. So the Jets were playing the Ravens, and it's so ironic because the Jets ended up being a half-decent team that year.
Yeah.
And, of course, they lost week 1. Everyone in hindsight is like, why didn't you just make a second team taking the Ravens? So then automatically one team moves forward. We ended up making a second team, and who did we pick?
I think the Browns.
I forget, but we lost both Survivor teams in week 1. But anyways, that was a fluke. So I'm going to go to Gino here.
Yeah.
A lot of the Gens want to know every single week, who is your Survivor pick? And I got to ask you a crazy question here.
Yep.
Because obviously you don't want to lose week 1 in Survivor, but you also want to be strategic throughout the season. Would you take a look at the Commanders in week 1?
So this is where I'm so glad you said what you just said.
So the Commanders are a 6-point favorite at home against the Cardinals.
So I'm so glad Matty said what you just said. There's 2 ways to play Survivor. Obviously, there's 100 ways, but I think there's really only 2 ways. 1, you play to pick a winner, or 2, you play to strategically win it all. And those 2 are very different. So to Matty's point, will Baltimore win week 1 at the -10 largest favorite? Yeah, I absolutely think Baltimore will win. But they're too good of a team for me to use week 1. So Matty just told me, in my opinion, one of the best teams. I'm not buying a lot into this Washington Commanders team. I'm selling the Cardinals. 4 or 5 weeks ago, I gave out the Cardinals under before a lot of the new news that it was my number 1 pick. It's a great chance to use a crappy team, get them off of your list. For y'all newer, you can't use a team twice in Survivor. So for me, it's not that exciting, but I would not use the Baltimore Ravens. I would have the majority of my picks on the Commanders. That's my number 1. I would actually have Baltimore as my number 3. If you hear me out, why? You don't want to have the largest spread. Those are the weeks that most people get knocked out on. You don't want to be on the largest pick. You want those cheering against them. You want them to fail. It was Tampa Bay last year at Washington. And then my third one, not that exciting, but I think it's a cuter play if you want to have a little bit of fun and take a little bit of a chance. Where is it here? Oh, there it is. Falcons at home against the Panthers. A lot of people aren't going to like that. It's division early. This Panthers team drafted a quarterback. They're putting him in first. If you guys just trust me on this, historically, I like the Panthers' value on money line, but just a straight up win play. Falcons are in a very good spot here, and I'm not that high on the Falcons this year. It's a chance for you to waste another not good team. So do whatever you want with those 3 plays.
Yeah, I like the Commanders as I'm not a Survivor guy, but if I was in a Survivor league, which I'm like, really, I can't believe we didn't get in a league. I'm like scrambling right now to find one. So if you guys that are watching the show, if you know anywhere to find a good one, let me know in the comments. But I think the Commanders make a ton of sense to use in week 1 against the Cardinals. The Commanders do have a good defensive front. It is a rookie quarterback at home in week 1, though. It is scary.
Oh, it is. You're betting their defense versus a non-existent Arizona offense. I think the over-under is like 37 in that game, 38.
Right.
Again, put my name next to Washington. You want to check off teams like that.
Yeah, for sure. Gabriel's asking, how do I think the Eagles will do? We're winning the Super Bowl this year. 100%.
Matty believes that, and he's not wrong. There's 4 teams that are legit Super Bowl contenders, but the crazy part about the NFL, it's never how it ends.
Right.
Someone's going to fall off and someone's going to step up.
All right, so final answer, give them 3 survivor picks. No explanation why, just 3
Yeah.
teams.
Commanders, Baltimore Falcons.
I like it. All right. Let's move on to the primetime games of the week. So the season opener is this Thursday. The Lions take on the Chiefs. The Lions right now are a 6.5 point underdog with Kansas City at -6.5. Keep an eye on that number. We just saw some news on Travis Kelce today. And guys, the over-under is sitting at 55. Now for the money line, +233 for the Lions, -233 for the Chiefs. The reason there is no variance is on the show we are using betopenly.com for the lines and odds. Brad, if you can put the website in the comments for us. I highly suggest, especially for primetime games this season, make sure you go over to Bet Openly. It is peer-to-peer betting the same exact way Uber and Airbnb is. You bet on the Lions or you bet on the Chiefs, they're going to match you with someone that's taking the Lions, and you're going to save money there. What do you like in this game, Gino? A couple things to look at. D-tackle Chris Jones is holding out right now for the Kansas City Chiefs in a contract situation. Travis Kelce, as mentioned, beat up, hurt his knee in practice today. And the Lions are now the favorite in their division for the first time. And they're coming off last season, winning 5 of their last 6 games to close out the year. Do you believe in their head coach, in Jared Goff, and do you think they will keep this game competitive in Kansas City in week 1?
I love their head coach, first and foremost. I think he has the locker room fully bought in. That's important. He reminds me of Robert Saleh. Breaks my heart that he's at the Jets. I promise I won't talk about that the whole episode. Some updates. Matty gave you all good data. Kelsey's confirmed out. The line is now 5, and the over-unders dropped to 52.5. I believe the best bet in this game is actually over 52.5 for the reason Matty just gave you. The D tackle's out. I was already waiting for an excuse to have this over. Detroit is going to be able to score. They're going to. They were always going to be able to score. The question is, can the Chiefs still score? Of course they can. If anything, I've seen Patrick Mahomes show that he is a plug-and-play quarterback. So what I would say here, man, this is tough. People are really big on Detroit. I think they are the number 1 team bet on to win their division or their team total over. It was the same as last year. They got really good fans in Detroit. So shout out to all the Lions fans. Y'all deserve this. People don't believe that Kansas City can lose their first game at home. I disagree. Always bet what you don't believe. And I know my homie Matty, if you want to tell him.
Do you think Detroit can come in and win this game outright?
I would bet Detroit money line before I took the 5 points. Just from a value perspective, +213 is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
My number 1 play in this game is the over 52.5. I know so Matty's going to force me to say things I don't want to say. I think the best bet's over 52.5. Mm-hmm. If you made me bet the game, I'm betting Detroit +213.
I could honestly see them stumbling. Chris Jones just sitting on the sideline.
The guy in the yellow suit.
Somebody pay the man.
The guy in the yellow suit coming around the tree. Oh man,
that's wild.
I don't think the 5 points is too valuable here. Oh, with DT out,
game, yeah.
I just like, a nice, I don't know, 27-26, 31-28, something like that. A lot of ways to get to 53 for these two teams. And honestly, I think if you wait, I was talking about it earlier, I think this kicks off at 51.5.
Yeah. Yeah, my official lean on this is going to be the over. I'm with you there. I would not take the Chiefs to cover the spread here. I just can't do it. I would pass on either side. But I don't know that I would go money line as much as I love my dogs in the NFL, which I actually haven't even told the people yet what I'm doing. I'm going to make an announcement video in the next couple days.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I almost said it. So I'm glad I said it.
No, it's all good either way. But I have a very creative system I'm doing for the entire NFL season this year. And obviously it involves underdogs. But I would lean with you on the over here. So I do want to keep an eye on this game the upcoming 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Until Thursday to make an official pick here. But all right, well, let's go ahead and move on if there are no questions on the Thursday night game.
And just real quick, a lot of people like teasing. If you're gonna tease this game, please don't tease the Chiefs across 1.
Yeah.
Take Detroit +11 or the over 46.5. Please don't tease the Chiefs across 0.
Yeah,
I'll let it go from there.
Agreed. Mike asked, are there any Chiefs receivers to bet on with Kelce hurt? So, Mike, hold that question here towards the end. We're going to bring on Trevor, who does our daily fantasy sports stuff for Just Win the Gens.
Good question.
And he'll be a great person to answer for you.
Cool.
Yeah, I would argue not to tease that game in general.
Oh, I agree.
Either
completely.
side, they're a lot better. They're a lot better games to tease. I like the
100%.
Giants in a teaser.
Washington's a great game to tease.
There's a lot of good games to tease. I would think this is the last game you'd want to tease, in my opinion.
Yep, especially with the over-under at 50.
Yeah. All right, this is a game I want to touch on. Sunday Night Football. The Dallas Cowgirls are traveling to the Giants. A 3.5-point spread. The Giants at home are a 3.5-point dog. Over under 46.5. The Cowboys on the money line are -163 at betopenly.com with the New York Giants at +163. So here's the thing. Here's what I would say about the Cowboys. I actually give them props for moving off of Zeke and going all in on Tony Pollard. I think that was the right move. However, here's something you need to understand. For 3 straight years, the Cowboys have lost their week 1 opener.
Wow.
Tell me, is this year going to be any different?
Dude, this is home dog in prime time. This is division home dog in prime time. This is one of the most popular videos we made last year was we told people, take home division dogs week 1 through 8. And you got that right here. You have a home division dog week 1 through 8, and you have them in prime time. This is 2 systems crossed over. Oh, man, it's really hard for me. And I think Darren Waller is one of the more interesting pickups of this offseason. He's a wide receiver 1 like Kelsey, in my opinion, on this New York Giants team. So I got to stick with my system, Matty. I gotta ride Giants +3 with maybe half a unit and then money line with the other half a unit.
Yeah.
I can't get away from it.
No, I mean, look, this game's easy to me. Keep the damn points. We're taking the Giants on the money line. Bias aside, I hate the Cowboys, but I'm telling you right now that every single thing points to the Giants on the money line in this game. At home, primetime, division dog at home. I think they have great momentum coming into the season, getting Saquon back, and I think Daniel Jones on the new contract. I think Dak will play well in this game, but I just don't think it'll be enough. Like, I think the Giants will make 1 or 2 more plays down the stretch to win this game at home. And I told you, the Giants are like my sleeper. Like, when you look at the Giants at +700 to win the NFC East versus the Cowboys at +175, like, I would take the Giants all day.
The math doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Like,
they were right there last year.
I think the real number I think like the Cowboys should be like 2-1 and the Giants 3-1.
And I don't have the best memory. Were the Giants like 5-0 last year? 5-1
with their start?
Yeah, they started off hot. I don't remember the exact number.
Yeah, well, let's take a look.
And guys, if I want to give you a boring game, I do think this is gonna be a boring game in a good way for you under bettors. I love a 23-20, 23-17, 20-17 game. Just an absolute dogfight. I like the Giants defense. I like the Cowboys defense. And although I agree with Matty wholeheartedly, Dallas made the right decision to move on from Zeke, I don't think their offense is going to be clicking like everyone says. Everyone is buying into this Dallas air raid. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not a Dak guy.
The Giants started off 1, 2, 3, 4,
5-1,
6-1,
6-1,
6-1 last year. Now, granted, they did lose to the Cowboys in week 3, and it was a defensive game.
But now they get them home. This is what you want. If you want to compete in this division, you're getting a home opener in prime time.
Yeah, no, I mean, look,
line here.
100%. I just think that the Giants have a ton of value and a ton of momentum at home. I don't see this line being. I make this line a pick 'em. Like, I really do. Like, I don't see the Cowboys as that much better of a team, and then you factor in the points on the road. Like, I just have to go with the Giants here.
And Cowboys are usually such a home favorite, a public favorite, I should say. I do wonder if waiting gets you better than +156. I could see this kicking off at Dallas -3.5 to 4. But I really
was at 3.5 and it went down.
Oh, okay.
I saw it at 3.5.
So the sharps are hammering it early.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, thank you for that. I would say bet this now and bet this early.
Yeah. All right. If there's no questions on this game, we're going to move on to the Monday night game. So official leans, it sounds like we're both on Giants +3, maybe +3.5. If you guys can get it at that number. I like the money line, and then we're both on the under. I like that under too, 46.5 in a season one or in a week one home opener in a division game. Prime time. I like that under as well. Let's move on to Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. The Bills are a 2.5-point favorite. Over-under sitting at 46.5 here. What do you think about this game, right? Because at the end of the day, first game for Aaron Rodgers under the bright lights at home in New York. Like, it's tough, man.
This is tough. This is, again, a second home dog in prime time. This is what we want. This is what systems you want. The only thing I'll say is people are not as high on the Bills as they were last year. Do you remember last year they wouldn't shut up about the Bills? It was their Super Bowl basically all year. Right. So I do think you're getting the Bills cheap.
It's kind of like people are almost like, oh, you got the Dolphins in the AFC East now. You got Aaron Rodgers there. Like, I almost like the more we talk through this, I almost feel like, you know how these narratives are so drastic. Like, I could almost see the narrative of like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is washed after this game. Aaron Rodgers is washed. The Jets aren't going to do shit this year. I could see Buffalo coming in and stomping them. I really could see that. And then I could see a bounce back game. Who do the Packers play in week 2? Or not, I said the Packers. Who do the Jets play in week 2? I want to see that right now. Yeah. I could legitimately see the Jets getting stomped. Because I do feel that. I do feel what you're saying, that like people are not as high on the Bills. I feel like the Bills are going to come in to the Jets on Monday Night Football.
The Jets go into Cowboys.
Like, you must have forgotten.
You'll love that.
Oh, 100%.
That's what you want. You want that bounce back. You want the 0-2 Cowboys.
100%.
You're sick. You're like me with the Rams in Seattle. So, I mean, oh, man, I like trying to give you guys my best bet here in the dark. And, again, this goes against one of my best systems. I do think the hype is a little too high on the Bills. I love fading narratives. I think you're getting the Bills cheap here. I'm not going to hammer it, though, because, again, Jets, home dog, primetime, really good defense. Everything about the Jets I want to bet. I just think you're getting it too cheap. To Matty's point, I feel like this should be like Bills -5.
Agreed.
And that crosses 3 really strong points, 4.5, 4, 3.5.
Yeah.
This is crazy. You're getting 2.5 for the Bill champs.
Mm-hmm.
I know they lost Von Miller, but he's aged, dude. There's more to that team than Von Miller. So I like the Bills cheap here. It's a little square, I'll be honest. It's a square play.
It does look like money is coming on the Bills here. I've even seen that line. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking on covers.com.
Yeah, please.
And
what do you see? 65% of tickets?
Yeah, on Buffalo.
And that to me, it's square.
And obviously it's early in the week, and we'll see how that plays out.
And the sharp money's on the other side with the
Yeah.
ticket drop. And
Right.
This might be, I take about 2 square plays a week. The Bills might be one of my 2 square plays of the week where I'm with the public against the Sharps.
100%. All right, let's move on. So those are the 3 primetime games. We got a question here in the comments. Yes, I will be releasing a full card for NFL each week. All right, let's move on to the leans of the week. So every week on the show, we just want you guys to understand that we're giving out our leans. This is filmed on a Tuesday, right? So these are not official picks. So I always want to make that clear, because by the time our cards or our official plays come out, call it Saturday night or Sunday morning or whenever, things can change, right? Injuries, line movements, even just looking into the games more, right? But these are our initial leans. So I'll start with Gino.
And Matty's being too nice. One thing we can almost promise you is closing line value. So if you watch us and look at the plays we give you and the data we give you, you're going to get value if you put these plays in early. That said, I love covers.com as well. I look there a lot. I like CBS Sports. They've turned their back on me a little bit. One of my favorite plays, these two hurt my feelings because, again, this is boring. I love Tennessee at New Orleans and the under. So, man, these 2 teams are going to be rough. Their defenses are hard-hitting. I want to tell you right now, this is almost my pick of the week.
Yeah.
When I say under 41.5 for Tennessee at New Orleans. I do think Orleans upgraded at quarterback, but I don't know if Man, that guy throws a lot of picks. So these are slow-paced clubs. I really like this New Orleans defense. There's a lot of reasons I really like this. I think Tennessee is going to have a really hard-nosed offense. There's just a lot of reasons I like this, and I think they're going to both start with the run first, especially New Orleans with their 2 quarterbacks and all of that. So under 41.5 is one of my strongest leans before I hand Matty back to Mike.
I like it. I actually like that. Yeah, one of my favorite picks of the week, and Gino's going to absolutely hate this.
It's okay.
He's probably going to end up challenging me to bet head-to-head here on Bet Openly, but I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. Absolute love them. This could be a 2-unit play for me in week 1. Right now, they're sitting as a 2.5-point dog. I'll probably look to play the money line here, honestly, or maybe see what happens to that number. But if you look at Mike Tomlin in week 1 matchups, dating back to 2016, he's only lost one single time, and guess who it was against?
Hopefully my Niners.
Tom Brady and
Damn
Bill
it.
Belichick.
Okay.
So that means Pittsburgh Steelers on the money line. Mike Tomlin's been very, very good in week 1s. The Steelers defense last year, the last 6 games of the season, they have held teams under 16 points.
Oh, man.
So the last 6 straight games of the season, they have held teams under 6 points. You have Mike Tomlin and Mitch Trubisky now coming in after another year of experience at home when everyone's counting out the Steelers this season. I think they beat the 49ers outright.
Oh,
You have injury issues.
you're sick.
Yeah, this is
You're a bully.
This is the Steelers game to win at home. The more I think about, the more I talk to this pick, the more I really like it. If you take your 49ers hat off for a second,
No, I get it. You're right.
do you like it?
No, I actually hate that it opened up at 3 and dropped to 2.5. I hate that it's stuck at 2.5. It means that there's sharp money holding it up.
Yeah.
What I will say, trying my best not to wear my 49ers hat, but sincerely, is this Niners team was 8-0 with Brock. We signed how do you pronounce his name? Hargrave?
Yeah.
You're one of your best D tackles.
And he's a monster.
He's a monster. Bosa's gonna sign today. Bosa signed today. I just think you don't know what you're gonna get with these Niners, so it's a dangerous play. But if you made me bet it, I'm taking the dog here. So I don't hate the play, and I'm flying up to Pitt. So I'll be there in person cheering for these Niners.
By the way, big correction there. I said Trubisky.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I know Pickett's a starter.
Pickett's gonna
QB,
start,
but I misspoke. So thank you for that, Ethan. But no, I do love the Steelers in this spot. I think it's a really good money line play. I think it could be a money line and underplay too.
Oh, it's going to be an underplay. I agree. It's going to be a war.
Steelers. If that hits, we're clipping this.
It's going to be a war. So I think Pittsburgh's going to have a really hard time scoring against my Niners.
Mhm.
Forget our offense for a second. And I think we're going to have one of the best offenses in the league. So, but again, dude, the line is screaming sharp on Steelers. So you know me, man. It hurts my heart to say that. If we squeak out a win by 1, I'll be grateful. Very tough place to open up at.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got another one for him?
Yeah, this one, guys. Again, I like giving you systems. I like giving you plays. I don't just want to say the system or the play. I want you to understand both. Colts +5. This is arguably my favorite spread of the week.
All right. So the Jags -5 at Indianapolis with the total at 43.5.
100%.
And Gino is on the Colts. This is an early lean.
Yep. Colts +5. It's that division. It's that new quarterback that's mobile, athletic. So Colts had a terrible year last year. Horrendous. You couldn't have a team coming off a higher season in the Jags breaking their playoff curse and the Colts underperforming. Sorry to bring out bad memories for Matty. Matty was high on the Colts last year.
Hey, I just had them on the money line against the Kansas City Chiefs.
You did. I'm not here to make you look bad. I'm just saying this is a perfect buy low sell spot and on inverse. Matty and I will have a system we'll give to you every week where we show you who covered last week versus who didn't cover. And this to me, just narratives. People are crazy low on the Colts, crazy high on the Jags. It's as close to that system that Matty and I will start bringing you next week.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be clear, guys, starting week 2, we'll be able to actually do the buy low and sell highs. which is what Gino was just saying. Like, look at teams that people are way too high on because of the previous week, and are we fading them? And then look at teams that people are way too low on, and are we backing them? And honestly, that's one of my favorite segments on the show every single season. So
100%.
All right, I'm up.
You're up, brother.
All right, this one is a little ugly, but I have a feeling Gino's gonna actually like this. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, we're taking the Cleveland Brownies. Give me the Cleveland Browns at home, +1. I like them on the money line here against the Cincinnati Bengals. Over under is 47.5 currently. I love the Browns here. If you look at how the Browns have done historically against the Bengals, it's insane. The Bengals haven't won in Cleveland since 2019. Remember, these are division opponents.
That's insane.
They haven't won in Cleveland since 2019, and they're 1-5 against the Browns in their last 6. And now you're telling me Deshaun Watson, after a year, after getting rid of all the rust, a season opener at home in Cleveland. I like the run game of Nick Chubb. I like the addition of Elijah Moore, Mari Cooper, David Njoku. Like, I think this Browns team is going to roll them at home. I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Bengals will have a better overall season than the Browns, but I like this spot for them in week 1.
And I'm selling the Bengals a little bit. I'm actually selling Bengals and Browns a little bit too. But what I'll say to Matty, dude, the more I look at this slate, dogs are going to bark.
Dogs. I promise you.
Everyone
that's watching this show right now, you can close your eyes and bet the dog money line the entire week 1, and you will be up money. I swear to you, I will reimburse you if you do that. If you do that and you lose money and you send me your tickets, as long as you're not betting some straight heat, I will reimburse you, because I promise you, you will be profitable, especially this week 1.
Dogs are going to bark. Riding the dog train a little bit, because I haven't given out a favorite yet. I'll give out a favorite last. I try and stay away from road dogs. I don't like that early in the season. But one road dog I'm going to sell, and this is cross conference. I like the Titans winning in New Orleans. I think people are signing off this Titans team too early.
Yeah.
I love the pickup they got from the Cardinals. I drafted their running back. I think I got their running back 10th or 11th in one of my leagues. Like, bro, this guy's a hog. Wasn't he 1 overall last year? I feel like he was 1 overall last year. Now I got him 9th or 10th. I get it. CMC deserves 1 overall. But if I had to give you all a road dog that I'm actually pumping, because I really do like home dogs better, I like the Titans money line. I was talking about points. I gave you all the Colts, take the 5. But when I'm talking about the Titans, I'm taking money line. Then I'll hand you back the mic, Matty, before I give out my only favorite.
Yeah, so I got one more. I want to get your opinion on this, because this is the only favorite this may be the only favorite that I might take in week 1. And I don't have huge NFL cards. I'll usually pick like 3 to 5 games and then some totals and a couple props for the entire week. But I like the Atlanta Falcons here. I know Brad, their producer in the background, he's a Panthers fan. But you're telling me I get the Atlanta Falcons at home, -3. They're in a dome. Bijan Robinson, Cordero Patterson, Kyle Pitts, Taylor Heineke is a solid quarterback versus a Panthers team that's making a rookie's first start.
They upgraded a quarterback.
Yeah, he has Adam Thielen. They've upgraded, but it's going to take time, man.
Yeah.
And I think we forget historically that the Falcons are a really good home team.
Oh, I was saying the Falcons upgraded a quarterback.
Right. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But I think that there's just so many question marks. I think the Panthers probably have a better overall defense, obviously, but I mean, you're coming into Atlanta in week 1 with a rookie quarterback and a brand new receiver, and you're telling me I can get the home team -3. Taylor Heineke's been pretty good. People used to make the argument that he was better than Jalen in that division in the NFC East, and I remember JJ used to always say that. But there was a legitimate debate at one point.
No, I get it. He had a good year.
He was like, "Who's better?" Right? Because people would be like, "Oh, Jalen's the 3rd best quarterback in the NFC East behind Dak and Heineke." And there was a legitimate debate at one point. But Heineke can sling the rock, bro. And the Falcons in a dome at home, like, they got some weapons in the running back position. Kyle Pitts I'm big on after he needed last year to get going, I think. And I think he's going to have a breakout season. And I just like this Falcons team to roll in week 1. That's one spot where I'm comfortable laying some points with the favorite.
And throwing Matty a bone here and aligning with him, I believe the Falcons believe this is their division for the taking.
Mhm.
Tampa Bay is 4th in there for a reason. New Orleans is where I would put my money over the Falcons in terms of that division. But I genuinely believe the Falcons come out 1-0 and the Saints start 0-1, which again, the South is a very tough division. They battle each other. All 4 teams can beat each other. So I like that pick.
Yeah.
Riding you came in with a favorite, so I want to return the favor. Where I'm losing track here. Had one more favorite and it's hidden.
We have dog of the week.
Yeah. What am I doing
There's
here?
not enough favorites.
No, I found it. I think you're getting the Broncos here cheap. So Broncos -3.5. Just go back 1 year. I love Jimmy G. Jimmy G was my dog. He wins games. He is a substantial downgrade at quarterback for the Raiders. They lost Darren Waller. The Broncos have a better defense. The Broncos need to kick off the season better than they did last year. This to me is just sitting there on a plate. If you told me the same thing happened last year, and again, forget what all happened. Forget about Russ's downgrade. He has a better coach now. They got to win this game. And they got to win this game by 7-10. And I think they could hold the Raiders to like 13-14, which there'll be a lot of talk about Jimmy. A lot of talk about why the Raiders paid him. Remember, Jimmy manages defenses for my Niners. The Raiders don't have that. So this is, again, I don't know if you were pulling up the numbers. I don't know how square this play is, but I told y'all I do 2 square plays a week. I think my Bills and Broncos are going to be 2 square plays. Both favorites.
Yeah, so let me take a look. Broncos.
There it is. Oh, wow. It's not square.
Yeah.
60 on the Raiders.
60-40 Raiders, so it's
Okay.
not bad.
Not bad.
All right, well, let's dive into dog of the week, and then we're going to bring on Trevor for DFS right after. I've already told you my dog of the week. The problem is I'm debating between Steelers and Giants.
Well, you got to pick one.
It's so
Which
hard.
one's going to be your dog of the week? Because there's going to be a graphic of this. Don't mess it up.
I have to go Steelers. I have to back Mike Tomlin. The Giants historically can lose to the Cowboys, especially at home. Even though I do like the Giants and I will be taking them, my dog of the week, I have to go Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, they win outright. Keep the point or 2, whatever the hell it is. What's it, 2.5? Keep the 2.5 points. Mike Tomlin and the Steelers win outright.
I promise y'all I won't always be this soft. I already gave out the Titans and I already gave out the Colts. But my dog of the week is going to be the Packers. So totally different play. Sorry, it's only a 1-point dog. I know that's not that ballsy. I'll be better in the future, but I do like the other plays that I gave for different reasons. I just think they're disrespecting the Packers. This is still their division until people knock them off. Obviously, there's Minnesota in there, but the Packers just mentally own the Bears. I know the Bears want that win, and I know their fans deserve it, but I'm sorry. You give me the Packers as a dog at Chicago this early in the year with that Packers defense, I'm taking it.
I like it. All right, well, let's dive into some daily fantasy sports. I know all you degens out there, you want to bet your prize picks. You want to bet your underdog. BetOpenly.com now has DFS as well, so make sure to check it out there. We're going to bring on our guy, Trevor, a.k.a. FFC, later. We are waiting for him to join here. Brad's going to bring him on in the next minute or 2. But is there anything have you even looked at any DFS for week 1?
Yeah, so, oh, man, there's a bunch of ways, and I'll hand Trevor the mic when he comes on.
Here he comes.
I'm a huge running back. Early in the season
now. Damn you, Trevor.
Oh, we got headphones. So Trev, before I hand you the mic, Matty asked what I lean for in the early weeks of DFS. And I was going to say I lean running backs, and I do think the wide receivers have their timing off. So I like a lot of quarterback unders, wide receivers unders, and running back overs.
Yeah, funny you say that because that'll align with some of my picks with what we have going. It's timing. It also depends on the running back by committee for me. So, some of these situations like Matty's Eagles, I'm not touching them till I start seeing some usage. We're just right. They have 3 legit backs. They can use at any time, right? Gainwell, Swift, Penny. I want to see the usage there. And if I go, I'm going under, right? Because you're unfortunately, unless you know somebody with the Eagles, you're not going to know their you're not going to know their game plan and usage.
Yep.
And to back up Matty and complement these Eagles, they have 2 wide receiver ones. They legitimately have 2 wide receiver
And they
ones.
got
It's
Jalen
scary.
who's going to steal touchdowns on the goal line too.
Scary.
All right, Trevor, we have a comment from Mike here. Any Chiefs receivers to bet on with Kelsey hurt?
Yeah, so we'll just get right into it. So we were on this pick before the Kelsey news. Pick we're giving out today is Sky Moore over 40.5 receiving yards at -114. And let me explain why we were on him. So Mahomes likes to target his slot receivers. Detroit, while they added a couple corners, Detroit's weakness is slot receivers. And Mahomes over under for this game is almost 300 yards passing. He's got to throw the ball to somebody besides Kelsey to get 300 yards, right? Like he has to do it. So say he comes out and Detroit has a good game and they keep Mahomes at 240. Somebody still has to catch the ball. Like somebody has to do it. And Sky Moore was projected to have a monster rookie year. He didn't. I like targeting second-year wide receivers, second year in the system. And this line's too low, especially now with the news. So it only went from 38.5 to 40.5, 42.5. This should be significantly higher in that matchup today.
I like it. Thank you, Matty, for pulling that question. And I wanted to ask Trevor a question. I'm on this over pretty heavy in 2 days on Thursday. Jahmyr Gibbs over 29.5 receiving yards. Is that anywhere on your radar?
Yeah, absolutely. We're watching that line right now. So the question is do they use him in the backfield, third down, and do they use him as a wide receiver? Because there's a very good chance he gets used out on the spot, especially with Jameson Williams out, right? So Detroit's known for drafting great tight ends that they let go. So they let go of Hawk. They pick up Sam Laporta. So Sam's, again, I start adding the numbers up, right? Vegas says Goff's line is 256 yards. Well, we know they're going to, right? Say ASB has 120 yards, right? Great game. There's another 120, 130 yards they're accounting for that Gibbs, Laporta, no Jameson Williams. There's a ton of upside here in that offense. And I'm a Jahmyr Gibbs believer. I've been drafting him in all offseason. He's one of my biggest best ball exposures. He's one of my biggest high stakes exposures. We were picking him up in the 5th round. He's going in the 3rd now in fantasy drafts. I saw him go in the 2nd today at the end of the 2nd round because he's who they wanted DeAndre Swift to be. And that's why they traded up in the 1st round for him.
Wow. They're trading up. You said the 2nd round for a rookie?
Yeah.
Wow. This is why. I mean, I did win 2 of my 3 fantasies last year. I'm pretty proud of that. But these are not competitive fantasies. These are my homies from high school. But this is why I don't do those $1,000, $10,000 ones. These dudes know like the high schools these people went to, and I don't even know. I don't even know what order they were drafted in or what they are in the depth chart.
Yeah, DOTW is dog of the week. That basically means our producer's too lazy to type. Dog of the week. Yeah, he's flicking me off right now.
Dog of the week. People were taking money line plus money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Trevor, give us for the people that want to do like over unders on like Prize Picks, all the different apps, right? I'm gonna read off some to you and let me know if anything sticks out. All right. We got Jared Goff over under 261 passing yards, over under 1.5 passing touchdowns. We have Lamar Jackson over under 220.5 passing yards, 56.5 rushing yards.
Sorry, you guys cut out for a sec. Give me those to me again, please.
Lamar, 220.5 passing yards, 56.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
Jared Goff, 261.5 passing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns.
So I like his touchdowns more than I like his touchdowns more than I like the passing yards, because I think that passing yards is right on. Now, because I want to see how the Chiefs play without Chris Jones, because I think there's a chance Detroit also takes Monty and Gibbs and they run it down their throat without Chris Jones there. There's a chance Goff only has to throw 240 and Gibbs has
That would
100.
be scary. That would be scary for your over if that happens.
I know.
They just keep pounding the rock.
I still think they put up 30 points even doing that.
You think the
their
Lions
backfield's going to be really good. You can argue they have the second best line behind the Eagles in the NFL this year. Detroit's offensive line is no joke, and the Chiefs without Chris Jones, I'm going to attack it if I'm there. I also think there's a big chance they just gash him. And when I say running, right, like Gibbs turns around, takes a screen pass, and he's breaking 80 yarders all day. So when we go back to his over, I like his over receiving yards because I think he gets used more than just in the backfield. And I like Goff over 1.5 touchdowns.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, 32.5 receiving yards is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, he opened up right around there. He's tough to model this work week. I just think that number's too low for how they're going to use him. For him. I like guys that have the ability to break that in one play, right? He can take a swing pass and he can break 35 yards in one play. Those are the guys I like to target in matchups. And again, especially when Detroit's coming with, like I said, I would put him as the second best line in the NFL this year. Detroit's going to be tough. This should be a pretty good game.
I like it.
I love it. I want to see fireworks.
Any other spots you really are eyeing up for either any of the primetime games or for this weekend?
Yeah, so coming up this weekend, one of the ones I really like is, so we're going to target Arizona all year, right? Like Arizona is I'm under on their, what they're going to win this year, 3.5. But I'll tell you a big one I like is targeting them. But a sneaky one I like is Geno Smith against the Rams. I think Seattle's going to pass more. His touchdown is 1.5. I think he can throw 2-3 touchdowns very easy versus this Rams defense. I think the Rams by midseason are going to trade away all their high price pieces. They won their Super Bowl. They paid everybody. Cup's hurt. Their defense isn't what it used to be. And, to get their draft, because they have no draft picks for years to come, right? Dump Donald, start dumping those guys and get some of their draft picks back.
Their defense is not what it used to be.
No.
That's what I want people to focus on. Yeah, the only reason I'm not on Seattle is those two teams always play each other tough, and I didn't like. I think the spread's like 5 or 6. I didn't like the spread, but yeah, that was one that almost got my attention.
I'd like to spread at 4. If I could get like an alt line at like -4 for decent juice, I would take Seattle like -4 at that juice. So
they're gonna be able to run the ball too.
Yeah, it's they're gonna be tough. That's another tough matchup. And another matchup I'm really interested to see is Jacksonville versus Indy. Jacksonville is going to be no joke on offense, and their defense is very good. Rookie quarterback for Indy. I think they're going to be able to come out and pretty much torch them at will. But the going back to that Arizona game, Sam Howell from Washington, his passing yard line's like 216 yards, 15 yards, something like that. He could throw for 400 versus Arizona defense. And I wouldn't be shocked. Like Arizona's going to be that bad.
Yeah. I just feel like those totals are the way they are just because if they get up early, if they go up big on Arizona, it's like how many yards is he going to get in the second half?
Yeah, it's it was Philly's issue last year, right? Like I'm actually more excited for Philly and fantasy this year because you guys have a way tougher schedule and you're going to have to play Hurts is going to have to play the second half this year finally. Half the games last year, right? They're up by 35 every first half and they just shut it down. So it was good for fantasy, but I think they could go nuclear for fantasy this year.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Do you like DK Metcalf over 65 receiving yards?
Let me pull up my model on him. I'll bet I have him for the over on that. I would be shocked if I didn't. So as we model him up, DK, Seattle. Oh, I picked select all. Hold on. Yeah, we like DK. Yeah, I mean, we model him over that. It depends on what the juice is. I'd like juice minus 105 there, but I think that's a great like DFS play. So right, like Bet Openly is going to have the DFS plays out. Is you take Gino and you take DK and you stack them, right? So that's the way you learn how to play those DFS games versus just picking 5 random guys. So it's just like playing DFS. If you're writing the game script, they're both going over, or they're both going under. So the other one I think is going to be the shootout of the week is the Miami LA game. Like the Chargers and the Dolphins should be, both those offenses are going to be electric this year. I'll be interested to see if either of the defense could slow either of those teams down. And then I got a good season long prop for everybody. It's in the NFC East, so we're going to drop one for everybody here. We're going Darren Waller of the Giants over 4.5 touchdowns at plus 105. This is criminally low. Waller is going to have it. If Waller is healthy, Waller will have over 100 receptions this year. He is their Kelsey to the Giants offense. He is going to be used as their wide receiver 1. The Giants, while they drafted Jalen Hyatt, don't have a really true dominant wide receiver 1. They do in Darren Waller. Waller's going to get all the targets, and between him and Saquon, they could see 200 receptions between the two of them. In the red zone, Jones is going to target him, and there's no way that should be 4.5 receiving touchdowns for him at plus 105. That's completely mispriced.
Bro, I kind of want to put my life on that. Like, what the fuck? That sounds like you sold me on that, bro. Like 4.5. That dude is a stud.
Yeah.
And Danny Dimes is mobile too, right? So he can get out of the pocket and find him.
I can't believe he's a wide receiver 1 there.
100%. He is their wide receiver 1. Listen, Vegas, a lot of the lines are really good for season long props. Like they're pretty much on. This one is grossly mispriced. I have an uncomfortable amount of money on this year.
No, and I want to say again, because sorry for being the boring man in the room. The only question is his health, and it's a tough division. There's going to be wars there. That's the only.
He's going to put up 2 on the Cowgirls on Sunday Night Football. And Trevor's going to be counting his money early.
I mean, I agree.
Right. So you're telling me in less than a third of the games, he's got to score a touchdown as a wide receiver 1 right now. And I said it, he's had some injury issues. So I get that, but okay. If you give me 12 games out of him, 12, I don't think there's any way he doesn't score at least a touchdown in half those games.
He'll be their number 1 target in the red zone. He has big playability. Obviously they have Saquon, but still from a passing perspective, pretty much any red zone touchdown, not any, that's a lie. 60% of the red zone touchdowns from Danny Dimes will be to him. I like it. Earlier in the show about an hour ago, I said I'm buying Darren Waller a lot. I got New York Giants week 1 money line, and I think Darren Waller has a game.
It's just a matchup for me there. I love him. And you talked about it there too. Now think about this. Daboll, their coach, made Dawson Knox a stud, right? Like he made Dawson Knox relevant, and he's so irrelevant now that they drafted Kincaid, who I love. I love Kincaid. I think Kincaid is the wide receiver 2 for Buffalo this year. I think Kincaid gets used a ton, but Daboll made Dawson Knox like fantasy touchdown relevant. Now he's got a stud. Now he's got a guy that's a former basketball player, that's a 4'5", 6'7" dude that, right, they're just going to target all day. So I love that one as far as it goes. It's my there. And then, they talked about dog of the week, right? And who, the upset that we really, really like. So I don't know who you guys gave out yet. But one that I'm really liking to surprise everybody is what's called Houston upsetting right?
Ooh,
Right.
you like
Houston
defense on the
throwing
Ravens?
right. Yep. Upsetting them.
Wow.
I swear to God, I was looking at that earlier today.
So-
Man, that's a lot of points to give up. I get Baltimore is going to be good and their offense is
Yeah.
there, but
Let-
our boy is there, is calling their D.
Let's align with you a little bit. Sorry to cut you off, Trev.
No, all good.
I want you to finish. I just want to say we align with you that I did warn everyone. I gave out the Ravens as my third favorite in Survivor. I said you don't
Okay.
want to be on the largest spread. They lose a couple times a year and it happens, and it wipes out 30% of the Survivor League. So I didn't give out the Texans money line. That's ballsy. But I will say I did try and coach people away from the Ravens and put them third highest.
Yeah, and I like them to cover, right? I like them that they're there. And if you're going to sprinkle something on like a dog line, there's value, right? In them coming out, them grinding the ball with Damian Pierce. It's there. And like I think you brought it up great, right? Like a lot of people are going to be on Baltimore this week 1 and for Survivor. And right, that's how, you said it, 30% of the field could get wiped in one click here.
Forget Survivor. You know, all the gens are putting the Ravens money line in their fucking 5-teamers.
And every parlay.
It's going to wipe out everyone.
Gosh.
No one, and I'm super interested to see, but I feel like a week ago, everyone had Kansas City, Baltimore parlayed with something else. So I'm very,
and I like Detroit tomorrow night. So I'm on the Lions. I think the Lions I'll probably have a half unit on it on the money line. I got it above plus 200 right now. I like the Lions to upset them, especially with the Kelsey news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm starting to like the Lions a lot more the more we keep talking about it. The Texans, I'm trying to see how the Texans opened last year.
Right, totally different, right? They drafted CJ Stroud.
But remember last
year this year.
No, I know, but I still like to see Texans last year had that 20-20 tie game.
They wiped out a lot of people in Survivor.
That's hilarious.
A lot of people had the Colts.
Yeah.
A brutal tie.
Now speaking of dumpster fires, that team's going to be a dumpster fire. The Colts, I think the Colts are a hot mess this year.
I think to throw you a little bone, even though I'm taking the Colts +5, just +5, not money line. To throw you a bone, I don't understand all the hype on the Colts quarterback. I was just talking to Brad before the show. I get that he's a stud, but he wasn't that good in college. And people can judge me all they want. I just remember watching a lot of UF, and I just wasn't impressed.
They need to put my boy Gardner Minshew in. Let him do his
now,
thing.
Minshew,
he's a stud, bro.
He wins. He slings the rock.
The Colts might win the Super Bowl if they put him in.
The Colts, right? So, right, they got to go with Evan Hull and a few other running backs this game, right? Obviously, no JT. Their line isn't as good as it used to be. And for the season and rookie quarter, right? The Jags D is for real. Like they're going to have one of the top defenses this year. They're going to give him looks. But my issue is when I watch quarterbacks, I want to see the guy. So I'll pick on our Niners. Here was always my issue with Kaepernick. Kaepernick couldn't hit the 9-yard out, the standard NFL throw at the numbers that you have to complete. Richardson has Cam vibes for me. I think he's going to have like one season, maybe two, where, he runs enough, right? He runs for 1,000 yards, but he throws for 3 and they're solid. But I don't think, unless he really like progresses with his throwing, I don't think he has the longevity to stay because there's just certain throws you have to make in today's NFL as a quarterback, and I don't think he can make them.
I just see the Colts locked in at 5, and I'm just like, what? So again, for my spread of the week, we don't have that as a play, but I just made it up. It's the Colts. It's that backdoor cover, down 11, backdooring. It's just like, if I had to look at a game that's going to have the most spread of the week, it's going to be Jags -5. Everyone thinks we're going to lose by 17.
I could see it going both ways, right? I mean, Colts are at home, right? Like they want to go. I'm just all in on Jacksonville this year. I think Trevor Lawrence could end up QB1 at the end of the year.
And I'm glad
from a passing standpoint, right? Obviously, he's not going to rush like Jalen or Lamar or anything like that. But from a passing standpoint, with Ridley, with Christian Kirk, with Evan Ingram, with Bigsby, with ETN, all the stuff they have, and Doug Peterson, who's a phenomenal coach. Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl. Say this out loud, with Carson Wentz and Nick fucking Foles.
Yeah,
that's how good of coach Doug Peterson is.
No, it's Big Dick Nick, bro. He's a fucking
Yeah.
That's the reason they won.
Second to Big Cock Brock, baby.
All I have to say about Trevor Lawrence is I don't know what it is, but I get Andrew Luck vibes with Trevor Lawrence. I get Andrew Luck vibes. I'm not ready.
Oh.
Trevor seems super confident on this Jags team. I'm not ready to go there with them. I'm just not. Like, I might be dead wrong, but
part of it is
Trevor
the strength of
Lawrence,
schedule. The Drags
he can make every throw, and he's damn good. But I love their
the Jags
coaching.
have
So
an
it
easier
is-
schedule this year too. That's part of my upside for them. Is I really, really like their schedule, and who they have. So I'll tell you who I'm down on this year, who I don't think delivers. I think Deshaun Watson doesn't deliver in Cleveland again.
I hear you. One thing I'll say too, I have the Jags in my fantasy football, as their defense. So like, right. I think it's a solid. It was like one of the last overall picks. It was a league where all the defenses got away from me, so I grabbed them. I think they battle. I'm just, I look at things very differently. In the sense that I just hate going again, even though I gave one out, divisions. I hate divisions early in the season. I hate giving up points.
So that was going to be my question. So where are you at on the Bears and Packers?
I'm on Packers money line.
Ooh,
that was my dog of the week. Yeah, my dog of the week was Matty. Tell him who your dog of the week is.
Pittsburgh Steelers, baby.
Oh, you're drunk.
Ruthless.
Wait, is he a Niners fan too?
He is.
No.
Sick.
Dude, I'm lifelong.
Sick.
That's how I met Gino, was because of being on social with the 49ers stuff.
Because all my forcing on it.
Oh my God. But, so Trevor, let me ask you how you feel about Mike Tomlin only losing one time in week 1 since 2016, and it was only against Tom Brady. Steelers defense last six games of the season last year held teams to 16 points or less, and the 7th game was 17 points. George Kittle questionable. TJ Watt is about to ball out, bro.
I forgot that they get Watt back. That hurts
about
too.
To ball out.
He's gonna ball out.
2017 Steelers on the upset, week 1.
Ruthless.
So remember everybody that in the preseason that said the Baltimore Ravens don't lose in the preseason, and they all got smoked. I love the line is where it is because of that, right? Like, because Bosa has hold out, because of all this and all this. I like the Niners as an underdog for that. Like, they're favored, but I don't think it should be. I think that game should be dead even money, as far as it goes. But I'm a homer, so it's hard. I just really like our offense. And here's the upside. I'm actually huge on Pittsburgh for this season. I think Pickett takes huge strides forward. I think Deontay Johnson has a good year. I think Pickens has a good year. I actually really like Pittsburgh, especially from like a fantasy DFS standpoint. I have a lot of exposure to Pitt this year. But it's I'm starting to watch that money, and a lot of people are getting on the Steelers for the reasons Matty just said. And I'm a fade the public guy always. So I like fading the public there.
We line, brother. I still I do think there's it hurts my heart. I'm going up to Pittsburgh. It hurts my heart to say this. I don't feel good about the game. I don't. The only thing I like about the game, and I mean this, is the fact that BCB is 8-0 when he starts and finishes a game. So that, I think, is the wild card. And again, biased Niner fan, if you made me bet this game, like with my bankroll being responsible, it's sadly a Pittsburgh money line bet. Just from an ROI perspective, not that I think Pitt's going to win. So I hope that's helpful. Anything else you want to cover?
I got one last one. I got to ask because I haven't heard him talk about it. All right. How do you think you guys show up on the total in the Eagles-Patriots game? Do you think Bill is able to do anything to, slow you guys down, where that game doesn't go over. Because 45, I feel is low for that game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Bill is able to limit us some just because you give him weeks and weeks of prep time.
Right.
Right. It's such a tough game. Like this is a game I would not bet my team -4. I just don't think it's a good spot to take the Eagles here. But last year, the times I was like, I can't take the Eagles. They would always show out. Like this is a game they might show out. A nice double.
I was going to say if I'm drinking seltzers, I'm going to sneak in a Philly bet -4.
Yeah.
No way they don't win by 14.
Nah,
I'm being a square.
Yeah,
I'm a square side on that just from an offensive standpoint, right? Give me the better running backs, give me the better wide receivers, give me the better quarterback, give me the better tight end. Defense wise, I think the Eagles have more horses, but obviously Bill's just always able to scheme some up from the defensive side.
Yeah.
So I was interested to see where you land there. And then we got to talk about, I just want to hear your guys' opinion on where you think they land this season. Where do you guys think the Raiders and Denver land this season? Both with like big coaching changes, players changes. Where do you think those guys land?
Both dog shit.
Oh, you're selling both?
Selling both.
Yeah, the division's too tough. So I would sell both on their team total, but I'm actually betting the Broncos week 1. I think the Broncos show up and cover that 3.5. Just their defense versus the Raiders. I'm a Jimmy G guy, but versus that Broncos defense,
yep,
it's not going to work well. And I do think Russ has a bit of a rebound. So that was one of my plays I gave out was Broncos -3.5. I think I only gave out 2 favorites, Broncos and Bills. And Bills is my square. If we had a square play of the week, that's Bills for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Bills are my square play of the week too. I just see the Jets getting beat up on in week 1 and then bouncing back week 2.
I think 0-2 Cowboys,
right? Yeah.
Matty's 0-2 Cowboys already.
Yeah, no, here's what's going to happen. The Bills are going to get bent over in week 1. It's going to be ugly. Like I'm talking like
the Cowboys
27-7, right? That's my prediction. And then week 2, Aaron Rodgers is literally going to bend over the Cowboys as a bounce back game. I'm telling you, mark my words. And Brad, save this clip so we can post it. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now.
So, speaking of lines, we'll talk about that. I'll give one more out on this show that I'm on. So you heard me talk about Dalton Kincaid earlier. So Sauce is going to cover Diggs in that game, right? Sauce is legit. He's legit. I like Sauce. So he's going to cover Diggs. Diggs will get some, but Diggs isn't going to have a monster game there. Kincaid is going to run down the seam against that Jets defense and run slants and posts. And I think his line is shockingly too low for that game.
So if I'm recapping, every one of y'all listening that need DFS, and then you're on Monday chasing, trying to make money back, Trev is handing you Kincaid on a silver platter. He's saying go over on Kincaid in every which way.
Yep. We're I think there's Sauce is gonna, like I said, they're gonna put Sauce on Diggs. They're gonna throw the ball. I'm big on Buffalo's offense this year. And I like Matty's take of, the Jets come out a little slow, everybody hates on them, and then Rodgers gets pissed off and they score 70 on the Cowboys.
I'm telling you, the whole narrative after week 1, Aaron Rodgers is time to hang it up.
Oh man.
And then he destroys the Cowboys.
Oh,
that's what I'm calling right now. But
I like it. So we got some, dude, I'm pumped for NFL.
Yeah,
we got some matchups in week 1.
100%.
We got some dogs. We got the 0-2 Cowboys week 1 and 2. We fed y'all winners. I love it, guys. Thank you for everything.
If you guys would like to join the community, Trevor, who's been on the show today, is giving out DFS props. He's up, I don't even know how much units this year. It's
lost track of it.
Gino last season, 199 and 156 record on the against the spread and algo bets, up over 40 units. $100 bettors up over 4,000. DisciplinedToGens.com, or right there in the link in the comments. If you guys like to join, we're doing a special the entire season. $235 gets you literally the entire season, or you can join for $45 a month.
And we used to be a Facebook community, which I still love that community. There's a lot of good cappers in there. But we also have a Discord channel for the people that just want the alert, the card, the plays straight to their phone, straight to the app.
Yes, sir. All right. We will be back next week, Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern. We'll see you guys then.
Later, fam.